Hey everyone, it's Will here with Quantum USA. Just wanted to go on tonight and talk for a few minutes and see if anybody has any questions about anything for quantum related. We're going to be doing the in-depth dives every 2 weeks. Last week I kind of mentioned it would be weekly, so I'm jumping on here to kind of apologize that we're not going to be doing it weekly. We're going to start with every 2 weeks to see how things go. If we come to get a large community involved and get a lot of people on these lives, then we'll probably start going weekly. Just to be able to answer any questions that anybody may have or anything like that. Scott's not able to do weekly with me, so that's the reason we're doing it every 2 weeks as well. So kind of with me being by myself, I tend to ramble, as everybody who knows me knows. So it's kind of just getting on here to say hey to everybody, see how everyone's doing tonight, and see if anybody has any questions. If you're on here, let me know. So we got a few people on YouTube. We got a few people on Facebook. We got one on the Twitch or Discord, whatever that thing's called. So yeah, if you're on here, if you got any questions, let me know. I'm just going to kind of sit and just hang out for a few minutes. And if no one asks any questions in about the next 5 or 10 minutes, I'll jump off here. One thing I do want to talk about tonight real quick is one of the products we've been talking about lately on our Facebook groups is our coral cane. So I want to go ahead and just bring up some information about our coral cane right now. Coral cane's our coral food that we recommend. It is a great product mainly due to the fact that it's all wrapped inside of your fat lipids. And the reason we wrapped it all inside fat lipids is that way we don't have to use any binders or fillers. The benefit to this is there's really no phosphate or no nitrate that's going to pollute your water column. There is the nutrients that your corals need, so they're still going to get those elements that they need to be able to grow, be healthy, get their better color levels, get their better colors, get better levels of everything inside their body that they need. Coral cane's got your free-form amino acids in it, your vitamins, your carbohydrates, your fatty acids, and your protein. It's also got cellular-bound amino acids, trace elements, vitamins, carbohydrates, and fatty acids as well. It's a mixture of phytoplankton and zooplankton and other natural marine food sources. It does have a very high fat content, and the reason we did that is, again, we wrapped everything inside of that fat content. So we're able to put everything inside of those fatty lipids to make it where it's a very thick, it's not really a powder food. A lot of people actually complain that it is like, it's almost like chewing tobacco in the consistency of it. But that's the only complaint we've ever really had is for people wanting to feed like SPS corals. It does come with an activator rod inside of it. And that activator rod actually allows you to break the product up into a much finer and more manageable food for your corals. And it allows you to feed all your corals. Another really cool benefit to this product is one of my personal favorites is the fact that it is wrapped in those fatty lipids. What that allows you to do is be able to broadcast feed your tank a lot easier than you can with most of your other products. Most of the other products out in the industry right now, you have to mix it up, let it soak for 2 to 5 minutes, and then pour it into your tank. At that time, you've got to turn off your pumps. You got to turn off all your power heads and everything to allow that food to sit in the water column. Ours, with it being wrapped in that fat lipids and those fatty acids and whatnot, it allows the product to stay suspended in the water column. So it's actually floating through the tank instead of just going up to the top of the skimmer and getting, or going up to the top of the water column and getting sucked out by your overflow box, or just dropping down onto the bottom of your tank onto your corals or just into your sand bed. So this product allows you to truly feed the entire tank. Me personally, in my 180 and my 300, we broadcast feed the tank once a week, and we target feed once a week. This allows me to get the best amount of food for all of my corals in the tank. One of the reasons that you need to actually feed your corals is because corals only receive about 80 to 88% of their required nutrition via the zooxanthellae that's inside their skin, inside the coral. That zooxanthellae is actually an algae that produces nutrients for them and amino acids and stuff like that by using photosynthesis from your lights in your tank. So basically, your corals use the zooxanthellae to process the light, and then use the light for photosynthesis, and then they get their amino acids and nutrients from the zooxanthellae. However, it's kind of like you and I. We get a lot of nutrition we need from the sunlight, but we still need milk. We still need more vitamin D to help keep our bones stable and things like that. Same thing with corals. They get 80 to 88% nutrition from the light and photosynthesis, but they still need a direct blend of food. It's still better off for them. And yes, a lot of people go, well, fish poop and just the extra fish food that I put in there is good enough for them. Well, actually, it's not. They do require more direct feeding with a coral blend of coral food. There's a lot of different coral foods out there, so I please urge you to do your research on all the differences in them. There's a lot of other ones out there that use like wheat meal or yeast and things like that to create it. There's one that uses worms, which is another really good product. It's one of, if I'm not using coral cane, I do use Benepets. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of like where the red meat protein level, they're the chicken. Both are very good products. Neither one of them increase your nutrient levels in your tank. There's other brands that are very, very fine powders that once you put them in, you have to mix them in with your water column, mix them in like a little jar, and then go in and target feed, or the corals are just not going to get the food because it doesn't settle or sit where they're consuming. Because we all know when we feed our tanks, we like to watch the corals, torches especially, when they grab that, they wrap it up and hold it really tight, and they bring it into their mouth and eat on it. So it's a lot of the same type of thing when in the wild they grab those products, they grab that shrimp that's swimming by and whatnot and eat it. So having our food and the Benepets that actually stay suspended in the water column allows them to have that natural feeding response and grab what they need during that time, during their feeding process. Time of feeding, a lot of different people have different thoughts on this. Personally, I feed all my tanks right before I'm going to bed. So like my big tanks, I'll do them. My lights tend to start going down between 9 and 9:30. At about 8:15, 8:30ish, I do a dose of my BioEnhance, which is our amino acid blend that gets them enticed to want to eat. It gets them getting their polyp extension out and everything. And then I mix up my coral cane. About 30 minutes later, I'll mix it up with 1 scoop of coral cane, 2 milliliters of BioEnhance, and 3 milliliters of pure phyto. Mix all 3 of those products together and then go in and give them a good blend of food. Whether I'm doing the target feeding or I'm doing the broadcast feeding. Our nutritional content on our product it has around 60% protein. Again, those all natural marine proteins. So it's protein that your corals would get if they were in the ocean. Crude fat, it's 25% fat. Like I said, we do wrap it all in fat lipids, so there is a lot of fat in there. Other than that, there's not much else in there. When you get a product from me, you're going to see that it has... it's not the right thing. You're going to see that it looks wet. It's not. It's actually the fatty acids that are in there that's binding everything up for you. It is a multi-grain size product. There's about 16 different grains of sizes in there for you. So it is very universal for everybody in their tanks. Excuse me. Hey, Cora or Kara, how are you doing today? Hey, Colorblind Reefer. Yeah, and like I said, when we mix it up, when we're doing the blending and mixing it, we do recommend you let it sit between 3 and 5 minutes before you go to use it. I have used some coral foods where I have to wait 30 to 45 minutes before it actually mixes into the water column or mixes into my little container that I'm mixing it in and allow me to feed the tank. So I am kind of with you there, colorblind. So does anybody have any questions on coral cane? I figure coral cane would be a quick, easy, fun one to hit tonight since we've done a lot of posts about the coral foods over the last couple days. So I just want to see if anyone's got any questions. If not, I'm going to call it a night and get my kids some dinner. So this is one of our customer Scolies he was feeding. The feeding response with this product is amazing. This is Rick Cowan. Oh, he's someone that's on here all the time. Hey, Rick, if you're here. Since switching to coral cane, my corals and fish have never looked better. All of my LPS and SBS have gone crazy over it. The coloration growth has definitely improved. I would recommend this product to everyone. And here's, like I said, here's his Scolie. Kara, I've done it to tube anemones, and tube anemones go absolutely crazy for it. Well, almost every coral does, but it's really cool when you target feed the tube anemones, especially the bright pink and green ones. The green almost disappears in them because of how much coral food they'll actually take. And that translucent part of them, you can actually sometimes see them swallowing the coral food. It's kind of creepy. One of my favorite animals to feed is the tube anemones. Regular anemones love this product as well. So you don't have to worry about deshelling things like krill and mysis and stuff like that for your regular anemones. You can make a big thick paste with this product and go feed your anemones, and they're getting around 60% protein. That's more protein than they're going to get from brine shrimp, krill, mysis, anything like that you're going to give them with frozen food. Benefit of this, let me backtrack. If you're going to start using my coral food and you're not feeding your corals at all, what I would recommend you do is start once a week with a broadcast feed. Go for about 6 weeks and then increase it up to 2 to 3 times a week. Do one target feeding, one broadcast feeding. I never recommend we all start at one time. It's kind of like you and I. If we go eat a huge protein diet and we go straight on to that, I think it's what the protein diet they're calling it right now, where everyone's just eating meat. And the whole point of that is to get your body to get rid of everything that's bad in your body. It's kind of like us. We eat a lot of protein. We're going to go sit on the toilet for a long time. So the same thing with your corals. Even though the coral food's not directly going to increase the nutrients in your tank, your corals or your fish's waste will. So you need to slowly build up that bacteria in your tank, the anaerobic bacteria, to help break down the nutrient increase from your coral's waste. So, or your fish's waste. So definitely something you need to look into and start slow. If you're using a product like Benepets, I would say you could go ahead and start with ours with the same regimen. If you're using anybody else's that's got anything less than probably a 30% protein level, which is almost everybody else out there, start slow. Start with once a week, maybe once every other week, depending on the type of corals you have. This coral food is great for anything from anemones, as you're saying, Kara, all the way up to mushrooms, LPS, SPS, softies, myzoanthids go crazy for this stuff. It's really good for everything. I would also recommend, if you're going to be doing a lot of target feeding with this food, to feed your fish at the same time. Feed your fish 2 to 3 minutes prior to feeding this food, because your fish will love the amount of protein that's in here. They'll go crazy for it, as you saw with Rick Cowan's post here. Hey, Rick, just talking about you. Your ears must have been burning. I was just showing off your Scolie and your review on the coral cane on the website, which I appreciate that as well. So if nobody's got any questions, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. We're doing these every 2 weeks now, we're going to skip next week because I'll be in Vegas next week. And we're going to do it. I think we were talking the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday of the month. Yeah, the 2nd and the 4th Wednesdays of the month is what we're going to do. Like I said, I will be in Vegas next week, so we might do a quick jump on and do a quick live there, but I will not be doing anything huge. The following week is when we'll really start going into our series where we want to go through the guidebooks and really walk people through setting up a reef tank and answering any questions that you may have about our products. So again, sorry about the short, quick live. Just wanted to get on and tell everybody that, again, we're doing these every 2 weeks, not every week, like I screwed up and said last week. So hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.